Should be good. Let's go find it.
We're going to do an updated breakdown of Bryson DeChambeau, the most popular golfer probably in the world right now, especially on YouTube. Just won the US Open. Let's get right into this one. We're going to do a down the line of the driver and a face on of the driver and just take a look at how he gets so much power. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a line down the driver shaft and I've got a circle around his head. Let's see what we can tell from this view, this down the line view of his driver swing. So taking it back, you can see he kind of has a little bit of a trigger. He straightens that left leg, kind of shifts his weight onto that left leg and then shifts it back onto his right leg. You can see a little straightening of the right leg, and then that left leg again starts to bend as he's bringing it back. Another thing I want you to notice is how straight his arms are as he takes it back. He has like zero bend in his arms. Very kind of stiff looking swing, but man, he creates so much power. So as we continue on through the backswing, gets a little blurry right here because this was not shot in slow-mo. But you can see he's bringing that club back right on plane. One thing I want you to notice is this front heel. It's going to come off the ground considerably. I mean, look at that as he gets into the top of the backswing. As we continue on here, you can see his hands get very deep behind him. I mean, back on his backside there, very deep. Trying to get as much length as possible with that backswing. At this point, his head hasn't moved too much, maybe a little bit towards the golf ball. And then the top of his backswing starts right there, but you can see that shift of weight back into that front foot before the club even reaches its farthest point there. So he's already starting to slam that front heel down as the club is still on its way back. Now you can see here his head is starting to drop considerably as he rips that club back through the plane there, and he's tucking that elbow. You can see this elbow right here as it starts down. He tucks it right into that hip. And then as he comes through, he starts to push off this back leg. You can see that heel coming off the ground. And his head has basically stayed in the same spot after dropping on the initial part of the downswing. His hips are ripping through. You can see as he makes contact here, he's still in a great position. A lot of bend in this right arm as he's getting to the contact area. And then finishing low and left, you can see as that club comes back through his left arm, and then surprisingly well balanced on his follow through. Just incredible power coming from Bryson DeChambeau. Let's take a look at the face-on view. So in this face-on view, there's a couple things I want you to notice right off the bat before we put anything on here. Ball position, he's got it quite a bit back in his stance. A lot of guys will have that kind of up here off his left heel, but he's got it back in his stance, and I believe that's just because that's where he's most comfortable with it and it fits best with his swing. So another thing I want you to notice here is how his left arm here lines up almost perfectly with the shaft of the driver at his address. Next, I want you to notice his shoulder angle. You can see he wants to hit up on this golf ball. And then as far as his grip is concerned, he's got a pretty neutral grip. His left hand, his gloved hand, it looks like the thumb is right on top, which is going to be a little bit of a weaker grip. And then his right hand is your typical where you've got that V pointed right up to your right shoulder. So he's got a pretty neutral grip. If anything, his left hand is a little weak, but again, that's because he's not wanting to hook the golf ball. All right, guys, so I've drawn some lines on his legs and circle around his head. One thing I want you to notice about Bryson is he has like zero sway backwards. His body and hips will not move away from the golf ball. It is crazy how much he like just stands still while completely moving everything. It's crazy. Watch this. So as we make it into the backswing here, you can see he's slight shift forward. This one is shot in slow-mo, so it should be a little better as far as what we can see. takes it back very low to the ground. One thing I want you to notice is he likes to hover the golf club before he hits it. A lot of players will just set the club on the ground. He likes to lift it up, tee it very high, and hover that club above the ground. So as he makes it back here, he makes it as one swift motion with everything here. He makes a nice little triangle, and that stays there the entire way as he makes it back to the backswing. You can see very wide angle here as his arm gets to basically parallel here. You can see the club is way back here. When on the downswing, I'm going to show you exactly where the club is and where his arm is at parallel at that point. Continuing back, you can see his head has kind of started to move away from the golf ball, and that's just because he has such a massive shoulder turn that it's hard to keep your head in that spot when your shoulders are pointed way over here. So his head has kind of moved away from the golf ball. He can barely see that ball at this point, pointed down. He's looking at it through his peripheral vision in his left eye. But you can see, again, like we talked about in the down the line view, he's definitely taking the weight off of this front leg. But look at that back leg. It has not moved whatsoever from that line. It's like the exact same spot that it was at address. He continues back, and then you can see he's starting to lower that front foot as his club is still on the way back. And then watch as he rips this club down through the hitting zone. Now his arm is back to parallel, and look where the club is back here. Tons and tons of lag as he's coming through. You can see he's kind of starting to lift up on that front leg as he's getting into the hitting zone. And then as he makes contact, remember we talked about his left arm and shaft being lined up. He's back where he was. His hips have raised. And then look at his head. The whole hey, keep your head completely still in the golf swing is an absolute myth. It does not matter. This man hits it an absolute mile, and look how much his head has moved from address to impact. He is well behind the golf ball, as you can see here, and well below where he started as well. And then continuing on, hitting up on the ball and through the ball. And then once again, finishing very balanced, nice high finish. And he's right on that front leg as all his weight has been shifted there. Absolute beautiful swing. He has taken everything he learned from when he kind of bulked up to his finesse that he had beforehand. He's combined the two. He's met in the middle. He's compromised. And he is one of, if not, the best player in the world right now. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on this one, and be sure to hit that subscribe. I'll be doing much more on these swing analysis, as well as some tips and drills. Be sure to go check out a few of my other videos. I feel like you're really going to like them. Until I catch you on the next video, have a good one.